I'm a husband and a father, and these 3 mistakes kept me fat for years, despite thinking I knew how to lose weight and actively trying. Just so you know, these aren't the mistakes that are commonly stated, like you're not counting your calories correctly or not sleeping enough. Anyway, here are the biggest mistakes you need to avoid at all costs. First, what you need to know is no matter what strategy you try, none of it will matter if you don't know what success looks like for you, because it varies from person to person. Some might prioritize losing weight for health reasons, while others may aim to build muscle, improve endurance, or just to look good, etc. The reason this is important to understand is because mistakes are different for every strategy you take. A professional bodybuilder does not run into the same mistakes as a guy who just wants to be beach ready. Knowing this allows you to create actual steps towards your specific goals while also avoiding these mistakes. Now that you know what success looks like for you, we can dive into one of the biggest mistakes out there: misplacement of willpower. See, willpower is the ability to control one's actions or the ability to resist short-term temptations in order to meet long-term goals. And this is where most people mess up. In the context of weight loss, for example, willpower might manifest as saying no to dessert or pushing through a tough workout. However, willpower is a limited resource, and relying solely on willpower to navigate the complex journey of weight loss is similar to setting sail in a leaky boat. It might float for a while, but eventually it's going to sink, which is exactly what we see in the real world. The good news is willpower can be replenished, but more importantly, it can be directed to other things, making it far more effective and efficient. An example of what not to do would be changing your entire diet to be nothing but keto. If you don't know what keto is, it's a diet that is very minimal carbs, but high in fats and in proteins. This takes a lot of willpower because you're eliminating an entire food group. But if we're to take that same willpower and instead direct it to creating a few simple to make but tasty low-calorie meals, you would then have an enjoyable plan to default to, making your diet far more sustainable and making the need for willpower a lot lower. Essentially, willpower should be used not as a tool to enforce drastic restrictive changes, but as a resource to facilitate sustainable modifications in your weight loss plan. When you direct your willpower towards creating manageable, enjoyable changes, you're more likely to maintain these behaviors long term. This strategic use of willpower can help prevent the burnout and frustration that often come with more rigid, less flexible dieting strategies. But in many cases, it's not willpower you lack, but rather the motivation. Mistake number 2, misunderstanding/misuse of motivation. See, motivation is the reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way. It can be either intrinsic, which means you're driven by internal rewards like healthy for my family, or extrinsic, where you're driven by external rewards like fitting into some old clothes. Both are helpful, but the key to sustainable weight loss, being healthy, looking good, etc., is creating intrinsic motivation. When your motivation is intrinsic, your actions are powered by personal values or long-term desires, such as a desire to lead a healthier lifestyle for your kids and your wife, or to never again be embarrassed when you take off your shirt at the pool. This type of motivation is more enduring and can support the ups and downs of a weight loss journey. Now, external motivators can be highly effective initially and is where the majority of people are going to start. The big mistake here is relying too heavily on extrinsic motivators and not transitioning into a more intrinsic motivation. See, to successfully transition from extrinsic to intrinsic motivation, one needs to consciously shift focus and develop deeper, more personal reasons to continue their weight loss regimen, and to eventually be able to transition to keep off said weight loss. So here's some practical advice on how to create more intrinsic motivation. First, start by reflecting on what truly matters to you beyond surface level goals. For example, the ability to enjoy activities without your knees or back hurting because you enjoy those activities, or setting a good example for your children. Remind yourself daily why these values are worth pursuing. Also, instead of focusing solely on weight loss, set goals related to the behaviors that lead to weight loss, like going for a daily walk with your spouse to have alone time, working out with a good friend because you enjoy their company, or playing a sport you really enjoy. In fact, if you can seek out enjoyable activities, you're more likely to do them because it doesn't feel like a chore. Then, you should celebrate non-scale victories, like your sleep quality has improved, you're feeling more energetic throughout the day, or you're able to engage in new activities. Then, to ensure you continue to be motivated from within, reflect regularly on the experiences you've had and educate yourself as to why these things are happening to ensure you continue to do them. However, none of that matters if you're trying to do what everyone else does instead of what works for you. When everyone starts a weight loss journey, it's very common to look for guidance in the form of popular diets, trendy workouts, and widely followed health regimens, which often leads to adopting plans that are designed for the general public, not for your individual needs, preferences, and circumstances. With that being said, sometimes this works, but more often than not, it falls short for many people, leading to frustration, burnout, or even health issues. And the reason for this is because of lifestyle and preferences. See, people's daily routines, job demands, family responsibilities, and personal tastes significantly influence what's practical and enjoyable for them. A diet that requires extensive meal preparation or a workout regimen that demands long hours at the gym may not be suitable for someone with a hectic schedule or limited access to gym facilities. Now, there are certain things you need to do, and sometimes just doing the work is necessary. But take it from someone who's made these mistakes several times. There are many different ways to do the job correctly. You just got to do what's right for you. And to ensure you don't make the mistakes of doing what everyone else does instead of what works for you, here's some practical advice. Start with figuring out what foods you prefer, your physical capabilities, limitations, and lifestyle. Then create and execute a plan based around that. If possible, work with a coach, personal trainer, or someone who can tailor a plan to your specific needs. Then start to experiment and adjust. Weight loss, weight gain, and maintenance is often a trial and error process, but flexibility is key. And lastly, make sure to regularly track your progress, not just in terms of weight, but also how you feel physically and mentally. Adjustments might be necessary as your body changes or as new challenges arise. Either way, congratulations. You've successfully avoided some of the biggest pitfalls in your weight loss journey and can now start to enjoy life even more. However, knowing what not to do is only good if you're doing the right things in the first place. So if you want to know what you should be doing, I recommend you watch this video right here.